Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia, and today we are doing a little check in. It's officially halfway through the year, and now is the time to see how we are doing with our goals we set at the beginning of the year. This may be a little uncomfortable because you know you haven't achieved what you want yet, but take this time as an opportunity for growth. Make the decision today to get back on track and get closer to your goals. If you have been crushing it with your goals, take this time to show yourself some appreciation. I was reflecting on the first half of the year, and I'm definitely not as far along as I'd like to be. However, I'm not going to get down on myself because of this. There have also been great things I've done this year. So I want to first share with you what is going well and what isn't. Let's start with what isn't. By this time of the year, I was expecting to be a lot farther along in my recovery. I was hoping to be able to do a lot more physical things and be in less pain. Although I am doing much better than I was at the beginning of the year, I'm not as far along as I'd like to be. And this obviously isn't my fault. I go to physio twice a week, I do my physio exercises every single day, and I listen to my body. It's just taking longer than I thought to heal. If you remember at the beginning of the year, I did an episode about the bingo card I make. I'm going to be so real, nothing is checked off yet. However, almost all of the things on there are either physical, so I can't do them yet, or can't be done until the end of the year. So I give myself grace on these things, but there are things on there that I could have done but haven't yet. Although I am actively working towards several goals on there too, they just will take most of the year to do. Side note for next year, I'm going to put more things on there that don't require the whole year to accomplish. 6 months into the year, I also wanted to pay off more of my credit card than I have. I have paid off some, but I would have liked to pay a bit more off. In addition, I would have also liked to be farther along in my business than I am. These two goals were mostly in my control, so now it's time for an honest check-in. What got in the way, and how can I move forward? Now for things going well and that I am proud of. Although I am not fully healed, I am able to exercise a lot more than I could before, and I've been hiking again. I've actually been craving to go to the mountains lately, and I want to hike so much more than before. So going from barely being able to move to doing easier hikes is a great accomplishment. I also have read 6 personal development books and 1 fiction book. I'm halfway through 2 other fiction books right now too. Also, like I said, I have paid off some of my debt, which is great. I also started journaling, meditating, and started EMDR and going back to therapy. This has helped my mood, stress, and anxiety so much. So I'm proud of myself for taking the time to better my mental health. I've gone on 4 solo dates, started a new meal plan that I actually love, and had a great competition season at work. I've also been super consistent with this podcast, even during tough weeks. And I am continuously growing my relationship. I feel like this year we have gotten so much closer and have built such an incredible relationship. I've also gotten closer to my family. I'm sure there's much more on both sides of it, but this was a great reflection for me. It can be easy to feel like we are super behind when we are into June and haven't accomplished the things we want. But it's important to take that as a learning opportunity, make a plan to actually achieve those goals, and reflect on all the great things you did do this year. Most people don't hit everything by June, so don't beat yourself up over it. Jot down what you have accomplished this year. Use the journal prompt, what have I accomplished so far this year that I'm proud of? I did this and I was surprised with how much I actually did do despite difficult times. I think if you do this, it will open your eyes too to all the progress you've made. It is totally normal for goals to get off track. Life happens, you might be really stressed, maybe you've shifted priorities, or you're burnt out. Things will always come up, they can't really be avoided. Depending on the circumstance, this could derail your goals a bit. Some things genuinely are out of your control, but if you're being really honest, are there areas where you're holding yourself back more than necessary or using it as an excuse? It's easy to just blame outside circumstances for why you haven't achieved what you said you were going to, and sometimes it does make it very difficult, and in some cases you can no longer do it, and I get that, but for the most part, you can still work toward it. Like I said, I haven't achieved some of my goals because my back injury isn't as healed as I'd hoped it would be. This doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything though. I am doing everything I can to heal and to still exercise. As you know, I've been going through a tough time with a personal issue, but I don't use this as an excuse to not achieve things. Some days I'm very sad and I don't feel like getting my work done or working out, but I know I have to. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely days where I allow myself time to rest and work through those emotions, but I don't linger in it. The longer you linger in it, the more it becomes a habit and the harder it is to get out of. Give yourself a day here and there, but then get back to it. It will actually help you feel so much better. Goals can also get off track when we outgrow old goals or realize they weren't aligned to begin with. Goals can shift and evolve, and that is totally okay. Just because you set a goal doesn't mean you have to keep pushing for it if it no longer serves you. Just make sure that you aren't going away from that goal out of fear or because you think you can't achieve it. Only move away from the goals that you genuinely know you're not aligned with anymore. I'll give you an example of this in my own life. There was a time where I had this app idea and I was so set on doing it. Once I started thinking about it and researching more, I realized it actually wasn't a huge interest of mine and it no longer felt aligned. I gave up on this idea because it's not for me. I never regretted giving it up. There have been many times in my business that I thought about not doing it anymore because it wasn't for me. However, the difference here is that I was thinking this out of fear and scarcity. I didn't think I could do it even though I wanted to. Anytime I thought of this, I would instantly feel sad, thinking I would no longer do the business. I could tell it wasn't because it wasn't aligned, it was because I was scared. So when you are making the decision to reevaluate your goal, think about what it would feel like if you didn't do it. Would you regret it, or do you feel relief? Are you excited about something else, or do you still think about that goal? Goals can also get off track because we set unrealistic expectations. Now, I'm all for dreaming big. That's not what I mean. You can set whatever goal you want. It's more about the timeline you set for yourself. Be really honest with yourself about how long this goal might actually take you to achieve. Sometimes we put pressure on ourselves to do certain things by a certain time, but if we set unrealistic timelines, this can cause us to feel down on ourselves because we aren't there by the deadline we set. This can push us further back. So make sure you are setting realistic expectations for your goals. So how can we do a mid-year reset? First, reflect on what has been working and what hasn't. Use the journal prompt at the beginning of the episode. Take your time on this because the more you think about it, the more you'll remember about all the great things you've done this year and all the things you still want to do. Next, let go of the goals that no longer serve you. Looking at my bingo card, I have the goal of completing my Reiki level 3. Although I still want to do this eventually, I don't feel a pull to do it this year anymore. So I would be okay with not achieving that goal. Think about your goals and why you want to accomplish them. If you don't really have a reason or the reason doesn't feel aligned with you anymore, or maybe you want to prioritize something else, it may be time to reevaluate. Next, recommit. Choose 1 to 3 core goals for the next 6 months. It's all about quality over quantity. Yes, I still have a lot of other things I want to accomplish, but those are smaller ones I can easily do. Choose 1 to 3 of those bigger goals that light you up. Focus on goals that make you feel alive, not just productive. So we have reflected, released goals that no longer serve us, and recommitted to our goals. How do we actually follow through this time? Following through consistently is where the real work begins. Let's talk about key strategies to help you follow through with more intention and energy. Number 1, create simple, repeatable habits. Success doesn't come from big dramatic actions. It comes from what you do consistently. Focus on small habits that are simple to do. For example, instead of journal every day for 30 minutes, start with 3 minutes. Instead of an hour workout every single day, commit to 20 minutes 4 times a week to start. Make habits so doable that they can fit into your life easily, even on low energy days. If you are doing these habits 80% of the time, that is better than following a perfect plan, but doing it inconsistently. Number 2, break up your goals into 30-day increments. Looking at the next 6 months can either feel overwhelming or you'll feel like you have so much time and you'll repeat what you did in the first 6 months. Break it into monthly focus areas to build steady progress. Each month, set one clear outcome or theme and keep it focused and trackable. For example, maybe in July you can just focus on building a consistent exercise routine. This could look like you walking every day for 20 to 30 minutes, or lifting weights 4 times a week, or going to a certain amount of fitness classes. Whatever it is, keep it consistent and track it in your calendar or an app. In August, you could focus on launching your creative project. And in September, you could focus on creating a budget and tracking your expenses consistently. Plan out the next 6 months like this. Number 3, habit stack. Attach whatever new habit you want to do to something you already do. Habit stacking creates a natural rhythm that feels effortless over time. It becomes part of your daily routine. This works well because your current habits are already built into your brain and have been strengthened over the years. So by linking new habits to this cycle, you are more likely to stick to the new behavior. This could look like stretching after brushing your teeth, saying affirmations while doing your skincare, meditating right after you make the bed. If you have not read the book Atomic Habits, it goes into so much more detail about how to habit stack, and it's very valuable. Number 4, set weekly or bi-weekly check-ins. One of the reasons you could be behind in your goals is because you didn't check in with them at all this year. Progress requires reflection and realignment. Start doing quick check-ins to evaluate how things are going and then make changes if needed. Ask yourself, what went well this week? What felt hard? What can I shift or simplify for next week? I'd recommend using a planner, your notes app, a journal, or even a weekly accountability text with a friend. Number 5, prioritize your energy. You need energy to follow through on your plan. If you are exhausted, even the best plan won't work. Start seeing rest, nourishment, movement, and emotional regulation as tools for sustainable success. Ask yourself, how can I support my energy better this week? I started waking up at 5:30 this week to get more time in my day to accomplish what I need to get done. I knew I couldn't just get out of bed and start working, and caffeine normally doesn't cut it. So I started going for 30-minute walks as soon as I wake up. This has energized me so much. I actually have been drinking way less caffeine, and I have more energy throughout the day. Once I'm like 10 minutes into my walk, I feel so much more awake, and by the time I get home, I'm so motivated to start my day. Number 6, surround yourself with accountability. You don't have to do this alone. Community and support help you stay aligned, motivated, and inspired. Find someone to check in with or let people in on what you're working toward. You could join a Facebook group or walking group. You could set up weekly voice note texts with a friend, or share your monthly goal on social media. When I did 75 Hard, I shared my whole journey on social media, and I know it kept me accountable. I did not want people to think I quit or couldn't do it. It motivated me to keep going, especially when I was getting such good feedback from it. Number 7, rewire your inner dialogue. The stories you tell yourself can make or break your progress. When you mess up or miss a day, resist the urge to spiral into I failed. Instead, say, I'm still showing up. Listen to my episode about mindset shifts for more details on how to change the story you tell yourself. I want to remind you that the second half of the year can be even better than the first, and it's not too late to achieve your goals. Choose progress over perfection. Any small moves you make towards your goals are getting you that much closer to them. Don't beat yourself up for not doing everything you wanted to. Show up now and be proud of the progress you've already made. If you start now, you won't have to feel this way in December. 6 months is plenty of time to rewrite your story. Choose your focus, show up with intention, and remember that progress is still progress, no matter how small. That is it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, I'd be so grateful if you would rate and review this podcast and share it with someone you think would benefit from it. It is also super helpful if you follow or subscribe to this podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on Instagram at growthroughit.pod or use the anonymous link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.